I think out of the all NA teams, I still respect Liquid the most, especially that even though we didn't have like a super strong draft against them, I still think they played really well. So I feel like Team Liquid can actually take games of European teams.
Welcome back to Rift Rivals, powered by Alienware for Team Liquid, going up against G2 Esports. I'm Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, joined here now by Christy Ender Frierson, and we are, of course, still accompanied by birthday boy himself, Sam Kobe Hartman Kinsler, to bring you this next game, Liquid versus G2, the rematch of the MSI Finals.
Thank you for joining me, my friends, for this happy celebration day. It is going to be that rematch, and we have seen Team Liquid, as Jankos was talking about, get the win yesterday. They did play the Sonateric multiple times. I know for a fact that Doublelift does not want to play it though, so hopefully we'll get some changes in the champion select down that line, and we can see some more iterations.
Yeah, hopefully we just see Grabs come in and ban that. We don't want any of that here today, but as you always expect with a G2 game, you expect to see them attack you in the early stages. We saw it so many times before. This is definitely something that has to be on the mind of TL.
Yeah, TL, this is North America's last chance here. It's do or die. Considering they're already down 0-2 in the relay race so far, Team Liquid has to pick up this win in order to keep those hopes and dreams alive. Y'all can't see it right now, but the players are having a little bit of discussion in the pre-game lobby about shouldn't Team Liquid's best player be on an AD carry, to which all the different Team Liquid players are now volunteering to play AD carries in their respective roles. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how the drafts look, wondering what we're going to see from G2 compared to their unconventional picks yesterday.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the craziness, a lot of the assassins over for them, but the assassin always on my mind is going to be the Pyke for them. So often we see that banned against them, and now that we know all 5 players on this team can pick it up, I expect to see Team Liquid take care of that one early.
And as we start off, G2 is immediately saying, nope, Doublelift is not allowed to play some Sona. We are not going to see those sort of pairings with something like a Taric or a Tahm Kench in the bottom lane. They want to see him on some AD carries this time around. I'm with them on that boat. Sona banned away. Jarvan also taken out, as Karma and Sejuani will join them on the ban list.
Yeah, some more jungle focus here as well, trying to whittle down on that pool. Jarvan is one of the junglers that can get out to some early action. Sejuani, definitely one of the highest priority picks for most North American teams and most teams across the world at the moment.
Yeah, seeing those bans obviously raises priority on things like the Olaf or the Rek'Sai, those very strong early game ganking junglers try and get these two teams ahead. And we have said often in the past the best way to attack G2 is by getting a very strong early game jungler for a player like Xmithie, try and get Team Liquid through those early games.
I'm also going to be looking to see how Team Liquid utilizes the fact that they're on red side, see if maybe they can get some clutch, valuable counter picks over the course of this draft. Final ban has gone through for each side. Yuumi and Aatrox banned out. It's up to G2 to decide what they want to go with here first. Hovering over the Shyvana, the Gnar, a few of these picks that we don't see too often. Irelia and Soul also a pretty rare choice unless you're playing Teamfight Tactics. What's it going to be, G2? What will we see here?
I think it's going to be that Irelia with 5 seconds left that is still up and available. Not too often we see that left open, but Wunder, of course, wants to pick that up.
Been able to shout out the Shyvana here that we saw from Wunder yesterday. Getting that AP as well as the Spear of Sojin is going to be the Gragas. This is a staple combination. North American fans will be very well acquainted with it. Cloud9 using it in Academy, in the LCS, and then we even saw it on stage used against them. So Gragas and Yasuo, very potent. Could technically be a bottom lane, but for Team Liquid, we for sure 99% thinks that it is going to be a jungle and solo lane combination.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if we are assuming Yasuo going in towards the mid lane, you expect to see Irelia try to avoid that matchup and go top side. But already with the Xayah Rakan lock-in on the side of G2, so powerful in that 2v2 down bottom side. Love to see that for Mikyx and Perkz.
Yeah, you talk about the possibility of a Yasuo Gragas bottom lane or something off meta like that, going up against something like the Lovers duo that has so much power in that 2v2 can make it a little bit more risky. Again, we don't know exactly where those picks will be going. Liquid still thinking about what they want to go with next, and the Lux, very popular recently, going to be locked in here for the NA representative.
Yeah, I really like the Lux here as an answer into the Rakan specifically, going for the Aftershock whenever he tries to jump forward and get that knock up onto you. It means you land a free Q, it means you get all those bonus stats, so very good in this matchup, especially for diffusing the engages, and then also with your range pushing in that lane.
And then we've seen later in the game as well, you get some extra safety trying to light up the brush and look for picks with the champion. It's also one of the few supports that can add to a Yasuo Gragas. If you pick somebody off in the side lane, super long range damage can be added. You just need that little bit of extra to secure the kill.
All right, let's see where the bans are going here now that we're in the second half of the draft. Olaf banned away. Ender, I'm sure you're happy to see that one. I know about your disdain for this champion. So we
Get
won't
that out of
see
my
that.
game.
Yeah, we won't see this this early game attempt at a champion here early on this time around. Sivir also banned out. G2 wants to keep that one away from Doublelift. At least the final ban of the draft here by Team Liquid. They don't want Jankos on that early, powerful ganking jungle.
The problem is that there's too many junglers left open. So yes, you can ban these two, and that's all fine and good. But Rek'Sai is still up and ready, and I fully expect Jankos to try and pick that up.
See if Team Liquid want to pick that up for themselves. Remember, the Gragas could not be the jungler, could still see that somewhere else. Maybe they still want to go for something themselves. Now the Ezreal locked in.
With a pat on his shoulder as well.
There's another pat on the shoulder. All right.
CoreJJ's like, all right, we're going to play some poke lane here. Don't worry about it.
Long range for Team Liquid down there in the bottom side of the map, which means that Gragas is very much most likely going into the jungle. So we'll see what Team Liquid want to do with that last pick, looking towards solo lanes. And there it is, the Rek'Sai, as expected, locked in for G2.
Yeah, Team Liquid going to have to be very careful about this Rek'Sai in the early game, especially alongside a LeBlanc. G2 have so many good lanes they can try to play around. Every single one, top, mid, bot, all have CC to try and lock down some of these high priority members. And champions like Lux with no innate escape are going to be very worried about early game ganks.
And already I'm looking at where are they going to send this Yasuo. I know that both Impact and Jensen can use Yasuo super effectively, so it's going to be about early scouting to see where the Irelia does go, because LeBlanc, very easy time setting up ganks on Yasuo if you have a Rek'Sai coming from the jungle. They're going to have to be worried about that. All right, well, if it's a Gangplank locked in, we know 100% that's Impact.
Yep.
Most played champion, super, super comfortable on it. And that is going to give them some possibilities of top side, adding to bottom side plays.
This is also a very AD-heavy draft from the side of Team Liquid. There is, of course, AP threat still from the Gragas and the Lux, but when you're looking at those big damage sources, it's Ezreal, it's Yasuo, it's Gangplank. Armor's going to be pretty effective.
And I think that an AP jungler and an AP support in Lux is enough of diversifying your damage when there's no pure tank on the enemy team. I mean, G2 maybe get some sort of defense in their boots, but they're not going to be stacking a lot of defensive stats, so I think this is completely fine.
Yeah, even for a champion like Irelia that you assume maybe can itemize a little bit efficiently there, her W no longer blocks magic damage too, so there's a lot of value going for those two picks here. But as we've mentioned, it is a very strong early game composition here from the side of G2 that I really have to be watching Xmithie. How can he stop Jankos from finding early game plays and sort of get this TL comp into the mid game, which is the time they would prefer to play.
Yeah, G2 is not playing the type of compositions we saw from them yesterday, gentlemen. We're not seeing those wacky left field type of picks coming out this time. This very much looks like a comp that was drafted to win and win hard early. If they can do it here, they're going to walk away securing the win at Rift Rivals for Europe, but Team Liquid will do everything in their power to stop it as we get onto the Rift.
I think everyone will be expecting some early attention around mid lane as well. So we'll keep track of the trinket wards from both junglers and mid laners as to the early paths that go around there. Yasuo and Gragas, classic combination, but we're starting off with an early invade from Team Liquid on the bottom side. All 5 members are here.
And this gives room for Jankos to actually walk into the topside jungle because he saw so many members, and that's a peculiar strategy. CoreJJ going for the early turret plate damage.
Okay, so let me check.
It's not just for damage, you get Spell Thief's money.
True.
I learned this on Doublelift's stream that he was encouraging CoreJJ to go for it multiple times.
33 gold.
And this time around, since they 5-person invaded on bottom side, you legit get enough gold for your control ward. And we'll see if that vision game does snowball from there.
Yeah, because I think he also only started with the 1 potion as well, so he had that extra money. So I guess, you can't do that every game because eventually you play against someone who goes bot lane.
Please be careful doing this in solo queue. This is a public service announcement. Do not run it down.
That's why they 5-member invaded on bottom side. Every member of this team supporting CoreJJ in his attempts to die to the turret.
Well, he made it successfully happen. Scoreboard says 0-0 at the top. No harm, no foul. CoreJJ managed to get that ward, and you can see it placed in the pixel brush in the bottom side river there. So Team Liquid will have some extra control over this area. Make sure that if Jankos tries to cross that halfway point in the map, they'll have eyes on.
So interesting pathing here from Xmithie, starting on his wolf camp and getting up towards this top side of the map. Maybe looking for an earlier gank window where he didn't expect G2 to know when he would be coming, but because of that deep ward Jankos did place in the top side, this will give Jankos time to clear out his own Krugs, path up towards the top side of his map on his own, and then potentially look for a counterplay.
And since he's got the control ward on the bottom half of the mid lane, where we talked about mid lane vision really early on, now with Xmithie on top side, this will allow Jensen a lot more information here to know that the Rek'Sai is not going to come from this angle. Caps right now forcing him off the minion wave, though, trying to deny that CS.
Yeah, the ward also protects against any sort of vertical jungling here because Xmithie did not take his own blue buff at level 1, so it does protect him moving up towards this top side. We may just see him recall early on to go ahead and get his boots because he does have that Predator, and then maybe find a gank on the bottom side or the mid lane. But with the Scuttle Crab spawning relatively soon, we should see junglers contesting over that.
And as you mentioned the Predator on Xmithie, I also want to point out, because sometimes we do see some keystone differences from game to game. Jensen going with the fleet footwork on Yasuo this time around. Oftentimes these days you do see Conqueror on Yasuo for the extra damage, the extra ability to punch through defenses as the game goes on. Fleet footwork, the name of the game here, in order to have a better laning phase against Caps, keep his health popped off. Jankos also with the Hail of Blades on the Rek'Sai to get off those auto attacks very quickly early on, makes him an incredible duelist.
Clever thing from Xmithie at the start, he was standing still wondering, is Jankos coming, so that he wouldn't reveal himself due to those tremors, but Jankos spent a little bit extra time firing away the blue buff. Bot lane.
Doublelift's going to be taken rather low here. Perkz also having some damage onto his health bar, but nobody's dropping over just yet.
Yeah, and Jankos, since he did go for the Krugs, Rek'Sai actually will take a lot of damage if you do that full clear on the bottom half of the map. He saw the ping from Xmithie with his passive on the top scuttle though, so he knows bottom scuttle is clear, and Jankos can head down there and finish up the bottom side scuttle so they don't get double scuttle situation, and it provides more vision for the Xayah Rakan to play that matchup offensively. You can see under the tower already, we're going for harassment.
Yeah, Jankos already saw Xmithie earlier, does have the level lead, but not itemization. Of course, Xmithie holding the red buff as well.
Xmithie getting a little bit of damage onto Jankos there, but considering Caps currently has the health lead, seems like he can rotate over faster just by the nature of being LeBlanc. Xmithie not wanting to bite off more than he can chew there in that 1v1. Also a level down. He did go back to base, as you already mentioned, because he wanted to acquire the boots, make sure he had a keystone, considering you don't until you have that item. And that means he's just now making his way towards the mid lane here. 2v2 going to be breaking out. Jensen rooted up in some trouble, knocked up into the air. Jankos looking to make this one happen, and first blood for G2.
Yep, Xmithie not going to be able to land that body slam. Also, no flash there to ensure it. So Team Liquid punished around mid lane in the 2v2, which we expected to be so pivotal here.
Exactly, and even though Xmithie did go back to base, he has an itemization lead, but it's not going to help him at all in the 2v2, just picking up the extra machete and the boot, so definitely going in favor there of G2, and they can look to extend more pressure because Jankos is level 5.
Yeah, level 5 to 3 is not any sort of a contest you want to deal with here. Xmithie hitting level 4 now, just needed that little bit of extra EXP from that chicken camp. Still down about 7 CS compared to his opponent, as Jankos has been ahead of the curve on farming here. Working his way up towards the top side, seeing if maybe they can make the dive happen onto Impact, but Xmithie has showed up. Yeah, he's just farming up some Krugs now, but G2 has to know if they try to do something. Jankos will have to deal with his opposing jungler being right there.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that Xmithie has no business messing with him. You know, he's got the level advantage. He is the Rek'Sai, and Xmithie already using stuff on the Krug. Here's another look at it, though. Xmithie goes in. You know, the only possibility there would have been if he flashed to try and get that body slam to interrupt and save Jensen. But once there was that full commitment, very easy for Jankos to step in.
Yeah, it was also that really nice sidestep there from Jankos to avoid the body slam, and then following up with the flash after that. Luckily for Jensen, he still has his own flash and the level lead in mid, so he still has pressure in this matchup.
Yeah, and even though G2 got themselves a first blood, it's still Team Liquid with a very slight gold lead, as Jensen's in some trouble here yet again, throws out the wind wall, having a flash away, but the flash will not do much. The damage comes through, and Caps picks up another one for his team.
Very easy for Rek'Sai to repeat gank. Again, the melee matchup into the LeBlanc. That's where we're thinking maybe they will have the Yasuo chase the Irelia around. Not the case here. And it is a big advantage for G2 now because the minion wave you mentioned still in Caps' favor. He can just hold it here. Well, can't hold that big of a minion wave in front of your turret, but it is going to be a big minion wave experience swing, and it is going to go heavily in his favor.
Team Liquid still getting themselves a decent enough early game, though, by the nature of having Kleptomancy Ezreal along with the Gangplank. Their champions are making sure they have plenty of gold, but Impact has to be more worried about his health bar right now. Looking to turn this one back around with the ulti. A turret shot, too. Going to be making things go his way. One more parlay should take him down. There's the auto attack, and Impact has the solo kill. Mid lane's going to be another 2v2, this time going the other way. Jankos pop. And Xmithie tries to get himself out. Caps makes it a return kill, a 1-for-1 in the middle of the map. Jensen's not done, sliding forward, firing off the tornadoes, but he will not get the mark.
Oh, they're not done yet, too. Jensen trying to charge his shield back up by walking around. Does have another charge of the Q. Caps goes for it.
Caps looking to make this play happen, but Jensen going forward, and he'll run him through with the blade.
This time around, Xmithie does use the flash. They get onto Jankos first because they know there's no flash left on the Rek'Sai, and it is a complete turnaround in this game.
TL win all across the map, and it starts in the top lane with Wunder diving too far forward, tanking up some turret shots there. And at this point, Impact, he knows he has the flash. He can go forward and finish off this kill. But it was actually the mid lane where it got craziest because they go double knock up there onto Jankos, who has to use his ultimate just to try and stay alive. That means none of that execute damage coming through from the Rek'Sai, and it's just Caps trying to trade back here, but he gets a little too over-ambitious going on Jensen.
Yeah, I mean, Caps has gotten the better of Jensen before. He thinks that he can outplay him here. Jensen sidesteps as Caps goes in here. He knows that the knockup has already been used, so he goes in for it, sidesteps behind that minion so the chain can't hit him, and then there are plenty of minions left for Jensen to follow that back up.
Yeah, Jensen also charged up full flow right there, so got that shield and made it for an easy duel.
Jensen getting 464 gold, as you also saw. Pretty nice payday for shutting down Caps there after his early success, thanks to his jungler's intervention. As topside, we'll see if Jankos can set something up here, help Wunder a little bit against Impact, as he now is a little bit behind, 10 CS down compared to his opponent. Also have to include the natural gold lead from being Gangplank in that one. Team Liquid currently with a very slight gold lead, hanging on pretty nicely against this early game composition from G2.
Yeah, big props to Impact on the top side of the map. He saved his orange for so long, baiting Wunder under the turret, and is able to get that outplay. That completely changes how this map is going to go. Xmithie does get chased off the scuttle, though. Caps going in.
A lot of damage coming out there. A nice cast goes through, and now Caps in some trouble. Bound up and blasted down. There's your final spark, and Jankos will now find himself in the middle of 4 members of Team Liquid. No stun in the world from Wunder could stop that one, and TL gets 2.
TL are first to respond on the crime scene as Jankos and Caps both tried to go way too far. Huge rotation coming out of them to punish the overaggression.
Now CoreJJ just running after Mikyx, getting him out of the way too. Jensen's able to move up. He has the minion wave underneath the enemy turret to grab himself a plate. Takes a couple of shots for his trouble, but now Doublelift has to make sure he doesn't fall victim to the G2 power. That game plan here with the Lovers duo. It's Perkz going up into the ultimate, trying to keep himself alive, sidestepping away from the binding. Flash still available there too. Team Liquid go for the play, but they will not find anything. Of course, they also don't lose Doublelift.
Yeah, exchange of ultimates there. Let's take another look at Caps going in. Now, once again, this is why North America prizes the Gragas-Yasuo combination so heavily. It's an insane mid-lane duo. They combine to get the root there for CoreJJ. Very easily lands it for the follow-up on a Caps. Once Caps is down, then there's nowhere for Jankos to go, so they get 2 for 1.
Yeah, it was also super clutch there from CoreJJ matching the roam of Mikyx Rakan, because I don't think G2 actually knew he was in the area. They went in thinking they had a numbers advantage, but the Lux was right there.
Nice Infernal Drake pickup comes out for G2 there. Jankos seeing the opportunity to take that one with Team Liquid not being in the right spot on the map. We already mentioned earlier how G2 doesn't really have a true tank on this composition. But of course, when you don't have a tank, that means you have more damage. So that Infernal Drake will feel real nice for your Xayah, LeBlanc. Everybody pretty much except for Rakan will get some solid value out of that one. as Jensen pushes up the mid lane here. CS leads in both solo lanes for the side of Team Liquid. Xmithie's caught up in the jungle there. You can see the gold almost even between those two, couple hundred favoring Jankos, but nothing to really write home about. Bottom side, though, is not even my concern as Jensen goes on a killing spree. Xmithie is investing in this mid lane, and it is paying off.
Exactly. They know their win conditions. Very, very good execution once again of the double ultimate. And again, another turret plate for Jensen here. Jankos tries to pick up the scraps. Wunder's on the way too, and they force the flash.
Now G2 need to do something with this timer because Caps' flash is coming back up and he's been getting punished. 3 deaths in the last couple of minutes right here. They need to be able to turn the tides of this mid lane matchup because the way it is going currently, TL with Xmithie and Jensen can just have complete terror over the river, find these roams and find these kills.
After the initial 2v2 kill mid lane for G2, it's been Team Liquid outplaying in back-to-back plays there. Top side of the map has been Impact too, so that is a Rift Herald on him. Let's take another look at the replay. Round 2 here, Xmithie over the wall, right into Caps as he went to put the ward. He knew that there was probably going to be a repeat visit, but a little bit too slow.
Could not dash out of that one in time. You saw him in the distortion animation, and now Wunder may be in trouble next. Impact laying down the barrels, putting the shots into him, finding the damage. One more is not quite enough. The corrupting potion won't do it, and Wunder stays alive.
Xmithie is knowing how to play the map so well right here, getting the Herald, going top lane after camping down in that middle side, and you see the respect from Doublelift and CoreJJ, clearing out the minion waves, knowing if they can blow those up, they can't be dove while the rest of their team is getting a lead top.
I mean, this is why they picked him Ezreal. You saw in Champ Select, everyone giving him the pat on the back. They're like, all right, you just have to play safe down there.
It's
play
time to lose
Ezreal.
Gracefully.
Because you know, when you pick Gragas Yasuo, I guess we'll call it Grasuo now.
Okay.
We can go with that.
The Gragas will be playing on the mid top side of the map. It has been payment for G2 though. Perkz and Mikyx mine almost all of the turret plates off of the bottom half. That is their hope at the moment.
But of course, because it's Kleptomancy Ezreal, despite the fact that things look bad with the plates and with the 20 CS deficit, the gold is only 200 apart between these two AD carries at this point in time, just because of the nature of Ezreal. Makes Team Liquid not feel too bad about the state of things. A 3,000 gold lead 14 minutes into the game is really good.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic for TL, and we said in the early game, or in draft, we said Xmithie must track Jankos, he must be able to shut him down. Well, Xmithie has done that absolutely fantastically so far, just owning the map entirely, and now for them, it is about transitioning that lead. Can you now put this Yasuo into a side lane where he can get even more pressure on towards towers, start to knock those down, and really start pushing your vision inside the G2 jungle?
Well, with his static shiv completed, he will have that much more wave clear, that much more burst potential when he goes in for these trays, these fights. Impact also not really afraid of Wunder here in the top side, confident in where he's at in this game on the Gangplank. Trinity Force completed, Ninja Tabbies in inventory means it's pretty much gonna need to be Cap to put some significant damage onto him, but Caps is once again in some trouble here, having to flash away from Team Liquid trying to start off a fight, but TL now falling back, recognizing multiple members of G2 are also here. You can see the comparison on your screen coming up now. Plates went down 45 seconds ago. Team Liquid ended up getting the better of that trade with 2 more plates in pocket. It's about the equivalent of 1 extra champion kill compared to their opponents.
Yeah, that was a little bit off screen there, but Xmithie forced Caps to take his distortion back with that barrel, and that in the end does get the flash off of the LeBlanc, allowing Team Liquid to continue to invade. They steal away the blue here and retain control of the map. All the while, Doublelift on your screen, playing the Ezreal. This is why they have him on the safe AD carry, so he can hold the weak side of the map.
0-0-0. He's doing exactly what his team needs him to be doing right now.
The important thing isn't the zeros on the side of that score, my friends. It's the 0 in the middle. He's not dead. He's not a detriment to the team. All you've got to do is hold the line in the bottom lane, and Doublelift will do just that. Mid lane, it is a 1,400 gold lead for the Yasuo over the LeBlanc. We all know the 2 versions of LeBlanc that you see in your game. Your team's LeBlanc, which kind of is a caster minion. The enemy team's LeBlanc, which pops everybody in the blink of an eye. If LeBlanc falls too far behind the curve of the game, she quickly switches to that second kind, where it's like, I don't really know. So We'll see if Perkz can find his way back into the game with a couple good picks. He does have the setup tools on his team with Mikyx and Jankos being able to engage, but we'll see if they can find those angles, those avenues, those opportunities here as TL groups up in mid.
Yeah, I really like TL's move here coming off of the reset because G2 split up and sent members to all 3 lanes, whereas TL didn't put anyone bottom lane. They brought 4 into mid so they could get priority. That means they can then move down in towards this Cloud Drake and have control over this bottom side of the map. While this lane bot side is pushed up, it means Perkz can't get any CS.
Doublelift will continue farming up against Perkz and Mikyx here in the mid lane. Xmithie trying to hang around off to the side, but he's on top of the wall, but Perkz again exploded by Jensen and Xmithie.
Those wards for Team Liquid pay off, and it's an instant flash from Xmithie. No response possible there from Perkz. They blew the flash earlier, and that is a kill into an objective.
Perkz keeps trying to go for these plays where he's on the flank or inside the TL jungle. He should know better than this. TL had just walked down into that river. There's gotta be wards there.
I mean, this would be fine if you're an 8-0 LeBlanc. Your team's really far ahead. You're the one who's pressing forward, sitting in patches of darkness. But when your opponents are in control of the game overall, you gotta be that much more careful about it. Impact now setting up for what could be a dive topside. We'll see if G2 want to execute on this.
Yeah, that control, I think, might stop the 4-member dive. Jankos is still up here, but Impact very, very accustomed to trying to outplay 2-person dives with the Gangplank especially. And the controller behind red buff means that the Rakan won't come up. That probably puts a stop to the play.
Jensen not afraid of Perkz in this 1v1. Level 12 to level 10. You can see Jensen was not able to find any damage in that fight, but thanks to his shield, walked away practically taking none either. Fleet footwork will also make sure he stays topped off once he gets exposed to the minion wave here yet again in a moment. Back in mid lane, still nothing too extreme going down here. Worth pointing out, Jensen also now has the Infinity Edge done on this Yasuo, so 100% crit means this guy is deadlier than ever.
Jensen is absolutely a beast right now, but for TL, their next main objective is to knock down this mid lane tower, which is difficult now because Perkz is in mid lane, and with that, Xayah can clear away these minion waves relatively easily. But that's where I want to see them actually move down into this bot side jungle, where they already have very deep vision set up. If you can use this Gragas Yasuo to get a pick onto a priority member on G2, it opens up the tower, and then the map belongs to you.
And G2 are on the back foot right now. We need to talk about from their perspective. It's very difficult, but they have to get their defensive wards up. You see with this vision toggle right now, they are playing completely in the fog of war. No advance warning as to where Team Liquid are going. So how do they keep track of the Gragas Yasuo?
You can't.
Well, Jensen's going to take Perkz down to half HP instantly. Impact goes on a killing spree with a cross-map ultimate, still looking to help his team out. Jensen unstoppable, finally going to be shut down. Wunder makes his way into the fight. Stasis going to be keeping Xmithie alive, but here comes backup. Impact on the rampage as Perkz finds his way into the middle of multiple members. Mikyx barely walking himself out as Doublelift fires off the True Shot barrage. Not going to find the mark on that one, but Team Liquid will take the fight.
Xmithie is playing like he wants revenge here for MSI, absolutely beasting on G2 as TL take yet another kill and yet another tower.
Team Liquid grabbing that tier 2. They have yet to take down all of the tier 1s. They've already broken into the tier 2 line. Big pick up there, making sure they get more than just the fight. But let's take another look at it.
Yep, speak of the devil, we mentioned trying to keep track of him. Perkz goes face first into the Yasuo, and then Xmithie allows Jensen a way out of that chain with the ultimate combination. That being said though, the reaction from G2 is good. Everyone commits to it. They teleport down. Wunder gets the answer kill. And then Perkz here, ulting into the auto attack and flashing away immediately, does get some trade back kills. That being said though, Team Liquid still get the objectives on the end. And this game is an inspiring game for North American fans. Europe has been
Ooh, all right. Mikyx still gets himself away. Not going to be caught out there just yet. Rakan so slippery when Xayah's nearby.
But it feels so good for NA fans too, because it's not Zed Yuumi bottom lane, it's not Evelynn in the jungle. This is full power G2, and
it's a real call.
Are smacking them around in the first 20 minutes.
I mean, let's not forget, because everybody remembers the finals of MSI, which was a clean sweep for G2, but when the teams played each other in the group stage, they were 1-1. It's not like G2 is in a completely different battle from Team Liquid, and once again, G2 are going to find themselves caught out here. Jensen and Xmithie moving forward, trying to find a pick on the Jankos, as Cap tries to engage, and he is just not doing it.
All right, that's going to give complete control to Team Liquid in the mid lane. 5 versus 4, they're going to send Jensen to the top side and retain their pressure here. G2 also have Jankos farm in the jungle, so they might have to give up this outer turret.
Team Liquid continuing to press forward. They know the enemy mid laner is down. They know they have control over this area. A nice binding coming out there from CoreJJ. Gonna stop Wunder in his tracks as he moves forward. Impact will continue remaining on the front line, eating the oranges, topping off the health, and Jensen will continue this split push.
They've got 2 waves pushing in for Team Liquid by sending Jensen top. Secondary turret there, you could see almost about to fall down. That forces G2 to reallocate their resources. They're trying to get 2 turrets at once here for Team Liquid, and they might have to back off bottom and just get mid.
It's also so hard for G2 to defend side lane solo when you don't have control over your jungle, because a Gragas cast can come over that wall. Even if you're under your tower, you're in trouble.
And here could be a problem for Team Liquid. Jensen gets himself caught out. Finally, the hubris is punished. He's too far deep into enemy territory, and G2 pick it up.
That is a big pickup for G2. Taking the Yasuo off of the map allows them to push out some of these minion waves. And we're approaching a dragon spawn.
That blast cone was not good.
Yeah.
Blast cone right into the Rek'Sai there. It's a little bit of a bounce house. Wanted to go over the wall, of course, and leave
You
the
think
jungle.
so?
But
Maybe.
not exactly the blast cone that he was looking for. That is the blast cone G2 were looking for, because it allows Perkz to push up the minion wave, as we said, and also get the objective.
Impact going up here 1v2 against Perkz and Mikyx. And honestly, let's talk Perkz here for a minute, because early on we talked in this game, win conditions for TL, Xmithie camping for Jensen, getting the Yasuo ahead. Perkz is looking an awful lot like the win condition here for G2. With Caps so far behind, he's relegated to mostly uselessness for the time being. Wunder hasn't exactly found a smashing success in the top side either. Perkz is the one who was able to find the 1 kill to salvage the bottom side fight. He's the one who's 30 CS ahead of his opponent, and this is the guy I'm looking at if he's going to come back and carry G2 through a fight.
Yeah, Perkz absolutely must pop off, because right now between the 2 soul laners, the difference between Wunder and Caps to Impact and Jensen is almost 5k gold combined. It is not even close. So Perkz is the only one that can carry. He needs to get to 3 items so he can do just that.
And right there on your screen, that play canceled because Perkz moves in, he defends Wunder, goes to auto attack Xmithie down, dissuading him from flashing in for that kill. Regardless, it will be the Mountain Drake started up here for Team Liquid, and I expect them to finish it off. There's no possible response from G2 as everyone is spread out across the map.
Yeah, Jankos was on the other side of the jungle. He was backing to get back to the base. There's no real reason for G2 to try to fight this. It's just too risky at this point in the game. Team Liquid acquiring another objective here for themselves. 2 Drakes to 1. Critically, the 1 for G2 is still that Infernal Drake that will provide some extra damage scaling as we move forward. But 24 minutes into the game, gentlemen, Baron is becoming more and more of an issue here for both sides to be concerned with.
Exactly, and I think G2 dropped the ball a little bit there too, because they knew TL was going down towards the Dragon. That was their chance to get river control, to put some wards down around the Baron. They put 1 deep control ward inside the TL jungle, but apart from that, it's completely dark around this river. Now it makes it very simple for TL to play around this Baron, and because they have the Lux, she is so good at controlling the tight corridors to enter the river from blue side. She can just pick you off, snap you up, and then you get the Baron.
All right, next steps for Team Liquid. You try and move up your minion waves on the side lanes so that you can get that vision that you're talking about around Baron. Currently, G2 have established control in the river, so Team Liquid trying to move in and push them out.
Xmithie moving forward yet again, looking for the opportunity to get that initial body slam or explosive cast. Either one sets up Jensen to go in with the last breath, which sets up CoreJJ to go in with the binding, which sets up the rest of the team to immediately find their damage follow-up. The CC chain here from Liquid, we've seen it pop off plenty of times so far this game. Truly deadly and honestly pretty easy to start off with that Gragas.
Yeah, it becomes very easy, especially with this Gangplank coming in with that AoE slow from anywhere else on the map. He can be playing side lane and still slow you down, trap you up to set up for those very easy Gragas casts. And because it's Gragas Yasuo, it doesn't even have to be an ult that knocks you back in towards the TL team.
Right.
You can just drop that, Yasuo snap ults, and then they're locked in place.
Yeah. Right, it paralyzes you mid-knockback. But G2 now have to contest the fact that Team Liquid has moved into the top side of the river, maintaining control over this vision, trying to drive G2 away or at least make them force check this Baron. There's the ulti being forced out of Perkz here immediately. Impact in some trouble. Rooted up, but man, they just eviscerate the bottom lane of G2. Impact goes unstoppable, and I think that smells like a Baron.
Yeah, Perkz is too close to Team Liquid. He was the hope for G2, and now it is going to be Team Liquid wearing purple, heading down the mid lane. They are looking for some Nexus turrets.
5 men strong. Team Liquid are ready to make a play happen. They'll send Jensen into the side lane. He is not threatened in this 1v1 whatsoever by the presence of Caps. Caps immediately going into the brush to get back to base, does not want to deal with this fight. Team Liquid will now send everybody back, shop up, and get ready. Here's another look at the pick.
Yeah, Team Liquid not wasting any time here either. Impact had already grouped up with the rest of the team, and you notice it's Doublelift who starts it off. Aggressive arcane shift forward to apply the slow on towards Perkz, and then they just run him down. Beautiful binding coming through from Core as well to get that huge AoE damage and not give any time to react.
Yeah, CoreJJ has been insane with the defensive bindings as well as that one right there. All that's needed from Doublelift is to land that slow. That allows Impact to take the charge and CoreJJ landing the skill shot from off screen. Now, as we said, Team Liquid right back down the map. They're headed towards mid lane, buffing up the cannon minion, looking for the siege, but G2 looking for the flank. Can they get Mikyx Rakan into the back line?
Yeah, there's a flash up for Mikyx, a flash up for Jankos. They want to catch them while there's only 3 members here.
There's so much.
Here we go.
G2 coming in, looking to initiate this one. Mikyx in the middle of all the people going to be knocking Jensen up into the air as Xmithie goes into the stasis. Jensen's going to be taken down, and G2 have found the initiation they need. Xmithie will find the kill to Jankos, but Caps assassinates him right thereafter. It is 1 for 2, and G2 take the fight.
G2 with the perfect flank right there, picking up the 2 for 1. Still so hard to get anything off the back of it. They're just trying to delay the rest of this Baron buff.
That was such a huge fight for G2. If that tower goes down, they don't have a lot of extra options because there's not many more pockets of Fog of War. When you're pinned inside your base, you don't get any of those options. Team Liquid, though, with Baron buff, can continue right through the front door.
Look at this, Perkz is teleporting behind. They're looking for the 80 carry flank.
G2 wants to try to collapse on these remaining 3 members of Team Liquid, but TL has no fear. They say, you can't come at us from this angle if we run straight through your front gate. Inhibitor now destroyed. Team Liquid take the objective.
Team Liquid saw Perkz going top lane and just pushing that wave, and they said, hey, wait a second. Even though we lost the fight, the strongest member on G2 is not anywhere close. They just run straight down the mid lane, get the freest inhibitor of their lives. I don't know what Perkz was thinking.
All right, that is going to be full map control left to Team Liquid. Mid inhibitor down, Dragon spawning here, and still 50 seconds left on the Baron buff for those empowered recalls after they take it up.
The other important thing to notice here, that play was able to go so well for G2 because of the resources they can invest. When we look at flashes, they're just not there anymore for anybody except for Perkz. Team Liquid still has them up and ready for Impact, CoreJJ, and Doublelift. So G2 will have to respect that going forward in these engagements. Another Cloud Drake to the side of TL, more move speed, more control. Just a few seconds shy of the next Drake being the Elder, so we'll still see another Elemental before that big buff comes online. But TL still has 15 more seconds of Baron, and they will use it to push onto the tier 3.
Xmithie's Predator forcing Caps out of the side brush. They're trying to find more of those little pockets of Fog of War, but again, the map is not that big, and Team Liquid now warding the sides because they expect G2 to try and make another one of those initiations. Still, Doublelift is on the way, so it's 4 members, and this would be the small window for G2 to go after, but now Doublelift has arrived.
Look how far Jankos has gone for this wrap around. No flash on him, though, so he must back away. There's also a very good ward from Team Liquid in the mid lane to spot out his rotation. Now that TL can group bottom lane, there's only one side they can be flanked from, so it becomes impossible for G2.
And look at the control ward in the brush that Impact is in. It doesn't actually see the other ward, so Impact doesn't realize he's able to be seen. There was an issue with the control ward not being at the right angle to see the normal ward, and that is huge for letting G2 find a pick.
It's because there's an angle on that rock there. The ward can only see in straight line.
EU rock.
We'll take it in this one.
Using the terrain to their
Yeah,
advantage.
exactly. They placed it down in the right spot, and Team Liquid didn't see it, and it cost them pretty big here.
All right, here's another look at it. Xmithie actually started in that spot. He trades places with Impact. He's going to be the one on the receiving end of that initiation. And once again, it's a Rakan out of Fog of War. Boom. No reaction
Surprise!
possible because Rek'Sai comes in for the knockup afterwards, so not going to be able to get out of that one, and that puts a stop to the push.
Yeah, it's so huge now for G2 as they try to wait out 2 more minutes before that inhibitor respawns. So there will be a 1-minute window where TL will still have permanent priority in that middle lane due to those super minions. That means still control for them in the river should be very, very good. And G2 must come up with another clever way to initiate a fight for them to have an advantage.
Baron in 45 seconds as well means Team Liquid doesn't have to go to G2 for the time being. They can force the issue in this neutral territory. We'll see if that's the play they want to go for here. As you can see, CoreJJ using those Lucent Singularities to check the brushes, clear out the vision from G2, and make this entire top side of the jungle blind. It is so concerning to have to try to move through all of this unscouted territory to go towards that Baron pit.
And the biggest difference here is that Team Liquid have the teleport advantage. So they have full control with all these wards leading up to Baron. If they just send Impact down to the bottom side of the map on Gangplank, he's so safe. He has Flash, he also has the ultimate and teleport to try and affect a cross-map Baron play, and they can play both sides.
Team Liquid still controlling the area. 3 seconds left to go until Baron spawns. You can see pings coming out from TL towards the pit. Honestly, with the strength of Jensen at this point, it's pretty easy to 2-man it between Jensen and Xmithie as long as you just have somebody to tank the damage debuff for Jensen. We'll see if they decide to go with that or with the full 5-man all-in as everybody from Team Liquid is walking over, and considering there's no wards being picked off by those sweepers, they're saying, let's get it started.
Yeah, all CoreJJ has to do is get ready to throw down a binding if Jankos was to approach, but G2 recognize there's no way for them to get into this pit.
Yeah.
Now it is TL's turn. Once again, they have 3 minutes and 20 seconds to try and destroy the base.
All right, G2. They've got the Guardian Angel now on Jankos. This is going to be the last-ditch effort inside their own base. Can they make the surprise play once again? Jankos looking for the flash. Mikyx also has flash on Rakan. They need to layer those CCs well on the backline.
Guardian Angel ready to go for Jensen. No such thing available for anyone but Jankos on the side of G2, but the Rek'Sai just will not have the same impact in these fights as a fed Yasuo will. Stopwatch ready for caps if he dives into the middle of these fights, but all too often so far, he's just been killed on a CC chain immediately. We'll see if G2 can hold here. Team Liquid is pushing up.
Now the mid lane inhibitor has respawned, so there's another pressure point for Team Liquid to attack. This makes it much more difficult to defend away from this, especially if TL can bring 2 minion waves into mid and top simultaneously.
Ooh, a lot of damage there onto Xmithie. Perkz getting some good damage on that health bar in with the auto attacks. Jensen's able to find a knockup. Perkz in some trouble, gets him the ultimate there in time. Gonna be taken very, very low. And true shot barrage. American sniper Doublelift finds his man, and Jankos will follow. Guardian Angel will bring him back to life, only to die a second death. Mikyx runs off the side. G2 goes into the stasis. Now they're going to be cut down even further. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Liquid will not be brought down today. The tornado cuts Wunder to pieces, and TL is on to the Nexus turrets.
Team Liquid with back-to-back victories over G2. They will not go down without a fight, and this relay race will continue.
We have ourselves a series. Team Liquid wins Game 3.
Yasuo Gragas is the name of this game. First attempt at mid does not work out, but they do not use the flash in that effort, and then they return and continue to use that combination effectively. Caps got caught over and over and over again in those Gragas barrels, allowing those combinations.
Yeah, it was Xmithie completely out-jungling Jankos in this game, not giving up, and then using the pressure he generated through mid lane to then go top lane. Meanwhile, you know, you have Impact who's just solo killing Wunder carefully on the
bait him under the
too.
turret, no problem.
Yeah, everything just seemed to fall into place in this game for Team Liquid.
And the parts of their team that they left to fend for themselves, Doublelift and CoreJJ in that bottom lane. 1-1-7 on the Ezreal, 1-1-10 on the Lux final scores. Exactly the kind of score lines you want to see out of your weak side of the map that you left to fend for themselves. Good stuff from Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it in the player cams at the beginning of the game.
Yup.
Game plan all along. Stay safe, and he did stay safe. Impact, I like that you bring Impact up again, because we need to continue to throw accolades at this guy. He has been an absolute monster for Team Liquid on the international stage, in the LCS. He is an absolute top-tier player.
Yeah, and he got no help for so much of that game. And then after he gets that lead, it's him with the ultimate, trying to find the initiation, setting up for these mid-late game fights that TL just rolled over G2 in.
I like seeing NA teams on stuff that's not Sona, so bottom lane doesn't get run over with a bulldozer in the early part of the game.
They banned Sona.
Yeah.
That was all TL needed to start winning games.
They 200 IQ'd themselves, yeah.
They actually trolled.
They won 2 games yesterday. That's 3 in a row for Team
but this is the one that matters. This is the only one that matters.
Right, yeah, this is relay race. Everything before that is just like, I don't know.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, out the window is where it goes. Team Liquid make North America proud, and to hear how they took Game 3, let's go ahead and send things back over to Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Team Liquid has given us a 4th game and given North America hope here in this best of 5, pushing it to 2-1 with another victory over G2. Now 2-0 over them in the event altogether.
Yeah, no excuses for this one. This was, a straight-up win over G2. I think Team Liquid should be very proud of that win. And it was really exciting to see them do it, in a little bit of a different style, right? Bringing out the Yasuo that had been such a good pick for the LEC teams, and Jensen being able to showcase it here for North America, I think was super exciting.
I like the adaptation. I feel like going into day 1, there would have been 0% chance of an NA team taking Yasuo in the first phase. They took it right here, sorry, not in the first phase, but actually in the first rotation in your draft. Take it with the Gragas. They're already showing this is most likely the mid jungle duo we'll have.
Right.
Obviously, you can move it around the map and flex it, but I like that adaptation from saying we need to do this. Like, if we want to beat G2, this is what we want to go with. But on the side of G2, like, there's comfort everywhere. Mikyx is an amazing Rakan player. They play so many Xayah Rakan games. Wunder's Irelia topside. Caps has always been a huge LeBlanc player. Like, there is really nothing on the G2 draft where we can say, wow, that was weird. Why did you do it? It was just straight up focus from TL around getting this Yasuo fit in the early game that was so well done.
Right, they still had some weak lane, in the GP and even arguably the Ezreal in the bot lane. But as you mentioned, that duo in the mid jungle that they picked up very early on, Gragas Yasuo, was on display.
Yeah, it certainly was, and this is a good example of TL, matching the roams. You already have CoreJJ coming up, you have Impact coming down, and they are looking to rinse and repeat time and time again, trying to put caps down, trying to put Impact on this Yasuo ahead.
And G2 expected this to happen, which is why they picked the Rek'Sai to try and challenge the 2v2 mid. They also got the early kill, but after that, that's when we got all these kills from Xmithie and Jensen, always them together. And it was just like a constant attack onto caps, which is a style that is very effective because he will keep playing aggressive in the laning phase, no matter if he's ahead or behind. And I really think that was a good read from TL. And then also just shout out to Impact in the early game for sitting in 1v1 against Irelia. There's a Rek'Sai on the enemy team as well. Your jungler is going mid all the time, and he gets a solo kill when Wunder's under the turret, or under his turret, and then he starts winning the lane from there, and we know he will just keep scaling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as Irelia into GP, and really every melee matchup in a GP, if you are not able to threaten it all in, you are going to get slammed because he's going to keep pressing Q on you every time grass is up, and you're going to get whittled down. So, Wunder looks for this all in. When that fails, GP's then in a situation to always run that lane from now until infinity, pretty much. So, Impact certainly getting one of his comfort picks, and while it's not like a super mind-blowing counter pick on red side, they played towards comfort, and I think that they also looked to have safety for the Gangplank. They have the Lux Ezreal, the two lanes that they're not looking to focus on, so these guys can kind of sit back. Even if you fall a little bit behind, you can look to farm and focus on that mid lane.
May not have been the flashiest game for Impact, but it was effective nonetheless. And as we talk about, yes, the early game being focused around the mid-jungle duo, I think as the game rolled on, your eyes are going to gravitate towards that Lux and CoreJJ, who's at the helm there, landing binding after binding, this being perhaps the most pivotal one.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly learned from Steve with the amount of bindings and ultis he's landing. Like, this one, he waits for Perkz' ulti to wear off, then he correctly predicts where they're going to be, lands the two-man binding. He did this multiple times, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he was making it look so easy to hit those bindings, you know, utilizing Fog of War really well, but even just straight up his timing on them was really impressive. And this is another example of why CoreJJ is so damn good.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the best players in North America, you know, as well as the world. To some degree, and it is on display here, at least in this game. So here we find ourselves, right, in a position where, you know, TL has given us hope for North America and pushed us to a Game 4. Remember, at this point in the best of 5, both regions now submit blind. So EU no longer has the advantage of counterpicking teams, and it will be Fnatic versus TSM stepping up.
Whoa,
on the stage.
TSM?
Yes, TSM is coming in Game 4 for North America. So I just want to talk through some of the strategy logic, how you guys feel about these moves.
I'm actually so surprised. I think that, you know, TL has been our best performer by far. They're 3-1 now. You know, TSM sitting at 1-3, I do believe.
They did beat Fnatic.
They did
obviously,
beat Fnatic
yes, but they didn't know it would be Fnatic.
Yeah, and it was, you know, against Dan, I do believe.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So I am honestly really, really surprised. You know, the idea certainly here is that if you're expecting the only way to beat G2 is for TL to beat them, I think you're swinging for the fences here. You're predicting that G2 would be saved for Game 5 again. And if you're saying, well, TSM could never beat them, this is instead of playing for Fnatic, 2 wins.
Right.
You're trying to play for the series win. You're swinging for the fences, and through that light, I respect it. But I do think that certainly TL would have a better chance of picking up the second win here against Fnatic. You know, they've just played better than TSM.
Right. If you're arguing strict percentages, TL probably has a better opportunity to win against both Fnatic and G2. So yes, you could say, hey, let's at least extend to Game 5 by keeping TL on the stage, get the win over Fnatic. And then we'll see what TSM can do against G2. But as you're mentioning, Ezreal, this feels like hey, if we're going to go for the win, let's go for the win. Yes, it's a lower percentage opportunity to even go to Game 5 here. So we could look like fools in doing this and lose 3-1. But at least this way, if we do go to that Game 5, we're confident TL sitting with 2-0 over G2 can do it again.
And doesn't matter if you lose 3-1 or 3-2, right? Like, you still lose.
Exactly.
So in this situation, I think they were maybe gambling on Fnatic coming in and then saying, hey, TSM beat them yesterday. That was what they were hoping for. Sadly for Europe, it's not Origin coming in to smack TSM down.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I do think for EU, this makes sense, right? You pull out the team that just lost as well as expecting G2 to be able to bounce back in a 5th game if they absolutely need to, but bring Fnatic in after some rest. They get to play again and hopefully
They're the rank 1 team in Europe right now.
They are the rank 1 team in Europe right now. We'll see if they can keep Europe the number 1 ranked in the Western Hemisphere. Team Liquid have kept the faith alive. See if TFTSM can maintain the momentum versus Fnatic after this.
Or will they just say,
As Jensen's in some trouble here yet again, throws out the wind wall, having a flash away, but the flash will not do much.
Cap's going in.
A lot of damage coming out there. A nice cast goes through, and now Cap's in some trouble. Bound up and blasted down.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm coming too. Move in. Just go. I'm coming.
Trying to drive G2 away or at least make them force check this Baron. There's the ulti being forced on a Perkz here immediately. Impact in some trouble. Rooted up, but man! G2 goes into the stasis. Now they're going to be cut down even further. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Liquid will not be brought down today.